It's review time in World of Tanks with Dangerously Incompetent. The Skoda T25 Czechoslovakian Tier 6 medium tank. Now, this tank is pretty much identical to its German cousin, the Panzerkampfwagen T25 German premium medium tank. Tier 5 medium tank. Yep, that's right. Skoda T25 is practically identical to a Tier 5 tank. But the Skoda's in at Tier 6. What's the difference? Does something save it? Well, it's got this. It's got an autoloader, and that's what pushes it into Tier 6. The autoloader's pretty good. 3 shells in the magazine, loads quite fast, good penetration. Average damage at 110, that's a bit on the low side. Accuracy and aiming time, they're okay. Overall, I would rate this autoloader as good for Tier 6. It could do with more damage, and some people prefer more shells in the magazine, but I like 3. It's enough to give you an autoloader edge, but it doesn't come with a crippling reload time. Load time of 8 seconds. If someone decides to charge you down after you've taken your 3 shots, by the time they've got round the building or the rock or whatever you're hiding behind, you're loaded again and you've got 3 shots to put in them at close range. Of course, the aim time of 2.1 seconds versus the time of 1 shell loading 1.33 means that if you're shooting as fast as you're loaded for those second and third shots, your accuracy is going to suffer, and you're not going to hit anything unless you're quite close if you're shooting that fast. As in, if you slow down and start aiming, your DPM is dropping. So that was the gun. Armour. See my weak spot review for more details, but it's Tier 5 medium armour, and it's not good in any one place really. It's got weak spots all over. The only time it's any good is crest fighting. The gun's depression of -10 is pretty good, and on that back slope you'll hide that weak spot of your weak forehead, and you'll slope the front of your armour, so against your own tier or lower tiers, that's the only place where the armour is really usable. Of course, if you can see Tier 7s, and those heavies and TDs will just rip through your turret, whether you've angled it or not, or whether you've got weaks, they can hit your weak spot or not. So don't try crest fighting against them. Alright, Maneuverability. Top speed, well, that's pretty good. Engine power, though, is only okay. Its acceleration and hill climbing is okay. It's not terrible, but it's not good, and you'd really like it to be good in a medium, because you need speed and maneuverability. It's fast enough to help with flanking attacks, but now we come to the real Achilles heel of this tank, its traverse speed. Just like the Panzerkampfwagen T25, its traverse speed is poor, very poor. I mean, it's 25 on the stock tracks, and this is the top tracks, only 30. So mostly what this tank is about when you're playing it is trying to compensate for this terrible traverse. It really cripples your maneuverability. This tank is no good at dogfighting, and dogfighting is one of the things mediums specialise in. Being manoeuvrable and getting around the sides and flank of those heavies and those TDs, it's hard to do in this tank. The traverse is so bad, I've been circled to death by light tanks, and that's bad news for any tank, but in a medium, that's totally unforgivable. Other stats. Turret traverse is okay. View range is okay, signal range is okay, hit points, that's okay. Camouflage, it's not telling me the coefficients again. Well, it's not good. It's a tall tank, so that camo rating is going to be not great. And of course you only get 50% of it when you're moving around being a medium. Terrain resistance, yeah, is that right? DPM is okay. It's on a par with something like a Cromwell, which is also okay. There we go. That's the stats. Equipment wise, well, consumables. Larger repair kit, large first aid kit. I did try automatic fire extinguisher, but playing that for a while I only managed 50% win rate. So I decided to put Skoda T in, which is the Czechoslovakian ration pack, and at 10,000 credits a time, and that's at 50% discount. That's very expensive. It means you don't make much money on this tank. In fact, I'm bumping around no profit and no loss, but that's without premium. With premium, you'd make a small profit, but that's really expensive, and I wouldn't normally use it on a tier 6 vehicle. But in this one, I felt I needed to. It helps an awful lot with your snapshots, your initial accuracy for your gun, and then your second and third shells out of the autoloader if you want to fire them as soon as they're loaded, and it helps alleviate the track traverse. Equipment wise and crew skill wise, here you can see my choice for the flanker and brawling when you have to. Setup. Vents to help your to help everyone, but mainly help your driver overcome your tracks and then increase the initial accuracy of your gun. Enhanced gun lane drive. There's no gun rammer because it's an autoloader. And then either binocular telescopes or coated optics to improve your view range. And with the binocular telescopes and 100% crew, you can get the view range up to maximum. So you can do pretty well on the old spotting. Well, the old passive spotting. Skill wise, Sixth Sense obviously. Clutch braking, incredibly important. Alleviate the track traverse again. And then following on, there'd be smooth ride and snapshot to help your initial accuracies. And I'm going for Brothers in Arms for another 5% on everything. When you're starting out this tank, I wouldn't recommend going for the flanker brawler setup. I'd recommend going sniping. The traverse is so crippling to your maneuverability, you'll really struggle, especially at something like the 75% crew. In that case, when you're doing sniping, I would recommend the enhanced gun lane drive, binocular telescopes, and camo net. And then skill wise, go for camouflage. So that's all the stats covered, that's all the equipment covered, and crew skills. So overall, how would I rate this tank? Everything about this tank is tier 5 apart from the gun. At tier 5 it's all okay apart from the track traverse. At tier 6 it's poor to okay, with the track traverse at really poor and the guns at good. So combine the whole package, I would rate this as it's okay. If it didn't have the traverse liability or it had more alpha damage in its gun, then it might edge into good. But as it stands, it's only okay. Next up, for review, the T-34-100. Ooh, a tier 5 medium tank that's been upgunned. I wonder how that'll turn out.